All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody is doing well today. Hope your weekend was off to hope you had a phenomenal weekend. We're going to dive in and get straight to it. So, as always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper for notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. All right. And real quick, let me enable this. If you guys can drop me one in the chat, if you can hear me okay, we can kick things off. Perfect. I appreciate it. So, testing out some new things this morning. So, just want to make sure we're good. All right. Cool. Appreciate you. And let's hop over to trading economics. We'll take a look at the fundamentals real quick. See what's upcoming for the week ahead. We got a lot of information coming at us this week, and then we will dive into the charts. All right, so trading economics, we go. And give me 1 second, everybody. All right, cool deal. So let's do it. All right, trading economics. So German business confidence hits an 8-month low. IFO business climate indicator for Germany fell to 87.3 in July, the lowest level since last November and below market expectations of 88 on the dot. The latest reading suggests that the path to recovery in Europe's largest economy might be longer than initially anticipated, given the persistent inflationary pressure and escalating borrowing costs, right? And they're anticipating the ECB to raise rates again, right? So things are getting a little bit tough in the UK. I'm sorry, in the Eurozone. All right, a little tough in the Eurozone. So we'll continue to watch that, and we're getting some back and forth information. So it'll be interesting to see how things go moving forward. Sticking with the Eurozone, European shares traded near flat on Tuesday, with cautious investors sentiment prevailing in anticipation of the U.S. Federal Reserve and European Central Bank meeting later this week, both likely to announce rate hikes. Additionally, traders responded positively to China's commitment to bolstering its economy through increased policy support. All right. On the corporate front, Unilever's quarterly sales figures surpassed estimates, while German chemical giant Bayer delivered a blow to the market by slashing its full-year earnings outlook and announced a 25 billion euro write-down. French spirit group Rémy Cointreau forecasts a strong sales rebound in the U.S., projecting a recovery starting from the mid-third quarter following a decline in the first quarter of organic sales. Denmark DSV raised its full-year profit guidance, right? So got some mixed earnings results coming out of the stock market, and folks are looking ahead to the rate statements, all right? China pledged to increase its support for the currency to basically prop things up a little bit. All right, so that's where we are from a trade and economic perspective. Over to the calendar. Starting with yesterday, right? We had a lot of PMI data coming out of the Eurozone and out of the UK. And came in below expectation, right? Came in below expectation, purchase managers index. So, and then we had the dollar manufacturing PMI come in above expectations. So that put more support to the Fed increasing interest rates, and the ECB still sitting at around 25 basis point increases the expectation for this week. So that's the data from yesterday. Today we have consumer confidence for the United States coming in at 10 o'clock. Richmond Manufacturing Index at 10 o'clock as well. And then we have Aussie CPI data coming in tonight at 9:30. Okay, so we'll look at that data to see kind of where the Aussie is and see if they continue pressing forward with interest rates or if they pause. Then on Wednesday, FOMC statement, federal funds rate press conference coming at 2 o'clock on Wednesday for the United States. Then on Thursday, we got the ECB policy meeting, right? So that will also be key for the euro. Advanced GDP quarter over quarter for the dollar on Thursday as well. And then unemployment claims for the dollar. And then the ECB press conference at 8:45, sorry. And then also on Thursday, you got Bank of Japan monetary policy statement. Always tentative, generally in the evening, so we'll wait to see when that comes out. And what's said, the statement here is going to be important, right? As we talked about last week, investors are anticipating the Bank of Japan to start to change its tone, but we haven't gotten any confirmation of that from the Bank of Japan, right? They basically said that they're going to stay firm, stay pat on where they are, and allow things to continue moving how they're moving, right? So we'll continue to monitor that and see how that goes on Thursday. And then on Friday, we have flash PMI for the euro coming in early at 1:30 in the morning, Eastern time. Then we have German preliminary CPI and that Bank of Japan press conference, all those early in the morning. And then GDP for Canada, core PCE for the United States at 8:30, employment costs index at 8:30, and then 10 o'clock you have your revised U of M consumer sentiment report. All right, so got a pretty busy week ahead and have those rate statements that will give us some pretty good guidance and some pretty good volatility moving through the week. So that's it from a fundamental perspective. Are there any questions on that side of things? Nope. All right, cool deal. So let's hop over to the charts. One more second, everybody. My bad. Okay. All right. So over to the charts. Let's do this thing. So take a look at the dollar. Cool. All right. So we'll take a look at the dollar real quick, and then we will kind of go through the charts and see where things are. So on the 4-hour perspective, we pushed into the zone that we're watching. We'll come back to the daily real quick. talked about price pushing back into the zone that we're looking forward to move into last week. And we got that push retesting this previous support zone here. And now we're just stalling, right? And just pressing sideways. So the question is, what happens and what's said during the press conference for the Fed, right? Is it a bullish tone or is it a dovish tone? And depending on that, we'll either get a breakdown back to these levels, and then we'll see if this level holds as support, or if we break back through, continue lower, or do we break out of this consolidation and continue pressing higher, right? So that's what we're looking for price to do, or looking to see what price does. And then that'll give us indication on where to go next. So coming down to the 4, this is that ran a sub fib off the low here. And this is the look on that. We got a 50% retracement, price push, didn't get to the D extension, and that's where we're stalling at. All right. So yeah, so that's where price is currently. Okay. And we'll watch to see how things go from there. Okay. We'll see how things go from there. Okay. So that's where we are on the DXY. See just a sideways push, a little bullish right now, but staying within that range. All right. So we'll watch to see how things move tomorrow. All right. With the rate statement. So that's the DXY. I want to start with the market was pretty slow yesterday. So I want to just get through as many as we can, just update on where things are. We'll do the euros, and then we'll get to some of those. Actually, we'll do the dollar crosses, and then we'll go to the euros if we have time. So start with the Aussie dollar. Coming out of last week, right? We had the strong press to the downside here, right? Came back and tested some of those previous resistance zones here, right? And now we're turning back over and pressing back to the upside. So based on where the dollar goes, we have some of that Aussie news this evening that could also give us insight on where this one pushes, right? Be it to the downside or back higher ahead of the rate statement for the dollar tomorrow. So coming to the 4, this is where things start to get a bit interesting, right? So here on the 4, running my fib to the upside here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The extension hit there and reverse. So running my fib in this range, but also to the upside here, right? Came down. We're sitting at a 618 retracement. We got a nice bullish push here. And so depending on what happens throughout the day today, we could start heading to the upside. And again, this daily level is going to be interesting to see if we break above that and continue higher, or if this level holds and we press back down to the downside, right? So we're stuck in this range a bit, and we want to see what happens next. Okay, what happens next here? So this is an interesting scenario where if the Fed comes out bullish tomorrow, we could see potentially a push to the upside and then a continuation down. So that's what we'll have to watch to see is how things move there. Coming down to the 1. Coming down to the 1, we got down to a 786 retracement here on the 1. And price is turning over, right? So if we drop a trend line on this, we just drop a trend line on this move to the downside. That's our trend line there, right? If we ran a more aggressive one, it would look like that. So on the inner trend line, we did get a break of that trend line. Okay. So I'm gonna watch this one. I'm just sitting tight on all things right now because I do want to see what happens with these rate statements and the press conferences to see what's said afterwards. So yes, we got a trend line break. We're pressing long here, but we're pushing into another previous resistance zone here. So I'm sitting tight, just watching and waiting, and then allowing the market to dictate where we go from there. All right. So I'm just sitting tight, being patient, but we did press down into the zone here, and we're trying to turn over and get back bullish. Okay. So we'll see what happens as we move through the day today and into the day tomorrow. Any questions on this Aussie dollar? Nope.
No.
All right, cool deal. To the Aussie Swiss. So this one, right, that Swiss has been super strong. So we've been getting this downward pressure here. And we came into the support just shy of the 118, 127 zone, and we're starting to get a push back to the upside here. Okay, starting to get a push back to the upside. So again, these daily resistance levels are going to be key if we push higher today, see if they hold, and then if we get price to reverse, right? Seeing what that data is like. So coming here to the one, we got a 382 push here on that daily resistance level, push down into that 118, 127 zone, gave us this not quite a double bottom, but a retest of that support zone, and then we push long, right? So we're headed to the upside, some relief on the Swissy. So we want to see how far to the upside we push, right? And we know the Swiss National Bank said that they're willing to step in to give support to the currency, which means it could see this continue to press to the downside, but we'll watch to see how things go here. All right, down to the one, here's where our 80-20 scenario sits, right? Pushing to that 382 level. Just shy of it now. That daily resistance level is sitting at a 50% retracement. All right, we broke the cloud here, bullish ahead. So pushing long, it's just going to be a matter of how long do we push to the upside. All right, so this one is already on the move off of the 80-20 play here. Taking its time, but it's getting there. Watching that 59,297 level to see how price responds there. Okay, but that one is moving to the upside. That's one that we've been in for a while. So we'll continue to monitor to see how it goes. All right. Any questions on this Aussie Swiss? Oh, all right, cool deal. Euro dollar. So I was going to go through the dollar pair. So we'll hop back to that. So here we're looking at this, right? 618 retracement, pushing long, right? We're long euro. We broke above these weekly resistance levels. This was a resistance level here and kind of here. And then we had another resistance level here, right? We broke back below this top one. So we'll remove that. That level is no longer valid. And now we're pushing down to this other level that was previous weekly support. Previous weekly resistance, right? So we want to see, does this hold as support tomorrow after the press conference, right? Do we push below this level, continue headed down, or do we see a bounce here and a push to the upside, right? So that's what we're looking for. The matching D extension here on the daily is here at 115,362 in line with the monthly resistance level, right? From way back here in February of last year. So this level now is key. We're watching this move to the downside. It's happening beautifully. Now we're looking to see what happens here and how price responds. Coming down to our 4. This is where we are. Let me make sure that's the right level. There we go. This is where we are. Boom. All right. So coming down into the support level here on the 4, this weekly support at 110,312 is a 236 retracement, right? So if this level holds and we push long to that daily D extension, that also puts us in a 118, 127 zone on this 4 hour in line with that monthly resistance level. So why remove the levels and if it goes back and retest it? So the reason I removed that level, Reese, is this. Let's go to the weekly here. So we had two levels here, right? We had this one here, which is that original one, that top there. And then we had this one here, which is also a previous level, right? I kept this one in on the lower time frames, right, as a second level, right? We have resistance here and we have resistance there. The reason I took this top one out is we broke above it and then we came back below it, right? So this level didn't hold as a retest on that pushback down. So that's why I removed that off the lower time frames, right? Because it didn't hold at all. And so now we're looking at this level, which is ultimately the bottom of that range, right? The other level was there. So this is your range of what could be support, right? That's what that previous one was. We took that out because it didn't hold. Now we're looking at this bottom one here at 110,351 to see if that level holds. So that's why I took it out, because it broke above and then it broke back below. So therefore it didn't hold and it didn't show any support there, right? So now we're looking at this level to see if this level, the bottom of that range, holds as support, right? And if it does, we'll see a bounce. If it does not and breaks back below that, then that will also get removed and that level is now invalidated because it didn't hold as the support level, right? That's my thought process there. So here on the 4, right, we push into that zone 118, 127 in line with the monthly resistance level, right? And then we'll see if we see a reversal out of that. Okay. So coming down to the 1 in our 80-20 scenario, making its way, right? That level didn't hold, take that out. And here's that support level in line with our TP1, right? Price is moving to the downside in a beautiful way, right? Just as we anticipated out of that 118, 127 zone. Boom. Headed to TP1 at 217 pips. Okay. So again, we'll watch to see what happens here, to see if we get this push and that move back to the upside. Okay. But price is doing exactly what we expected it to do. Okay. So that's where we are approaching TP1, and we'll see if we get a bounce to the upside there. Okay. And move through to the matching D extension and then ultimately to that 114,978 and just above 115 to get to that daily D extension. Okay. So that's what I'm looking for here. And that's what I'm watching to see, is if we get a bounce off that level and then head back long. Okay. Questions here? Oh, all right. Sweet. Got your stops in place. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Continue to manage that trade to the downside. All right. Continue to manage it, move that stop in a profit. Cool. So over to the pound dollar. Still pressing down, right? Coming out of this strong push to the upside, we got a 382 push here. Didn't get to the D extension here, right? We pushed into the zone that we're watching to see if it got to. And now on this move back down, we're retesting previous resistance. Okay, retesting previous resistance. See if the zone holds as support, right? See if the zone holds as support. So that's what we're watching here, to see if we get a bounce to the upside and get to the D extension there. We know overall UK is still bullish, right? But now the question is, do they go 25 basis points instead of 50, right? That's starting to shift a bit regarding that. So, but this will be more based on the dollar this week, seeing as we got that rate statement coming, right? So if the Fed is dovish, we see a push to the upside, get to the D extension, test these daily resistance levels, and also look at that 132.959 level as the next form of a higher time frame resistance, and see if we get a flip and reversal out of that zone, right? So that's what we're looking to see what happens, right? Retracement now, see if we get a push to the upside to tap that 132. Coming down to the 4, this is where we are on the 4, right? Just tap that 118 level, and then we got the push to the downside. Okay, got the push to the downside. So going to see is if we get the swing back up to really get into that 118, 127 zone. And again, that 132.959 level at that weekly resistance. Okay. So looking to see what happens there. Now, as we make our way down to the 1, that 80-20 scenario played out beautifully. All right. Shallow retracement, 118, 127. Beautiful move down. Beautiful move down out of the zone at its lowest, 288 pips. Right. And now we're ranging a bit. Right. Now we're ranging a bit. So let's see what happens here. See if we get another push. Maybe we get another push to the downside first, deeper into the zone, and then get a reversal, right? We'd love to see price come into the sweet spot here. So we'll see what happens as we continue to move through the week. I guess that will kind of make sense. So we've got another weekly support level here at 126.785. Right. So that's in line with the 786 retracement level on the 1 hour. So, do we get an initial spike down and then see that reversal to the upside to go tag that level at 132? Right. That's potential. So we'll see what happens there. Also, right. I'd love to see price push down into the sweet spot. Okay. But that's been a beautiful move to the downside also, taking out our levels there. Okay. Anybody still holding this one to the downside? Great work. Great work. Great work. Continue to manage it as well, right? Lock in some of that profit. Okay. So that's the pound dollar. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Excuse me. Take a look at the NZD dollar. I haven't been trading these NZD pairs much this year. It's been interesting, but I haven't. So let's look here. Let's go back to the daily. Excuse me. I have to do some updates here. That level got broken, so this is where we sit. Resistance. Got a support level here. Boom. Excuse me, got the hiccups this morning. So we're pressing down to the support level at 61,331. Okay. But overall, this is the range that we've been playing in since March, February, March-ish, right? So we want to see if we stay in that. So if we push down to this daily support level, and then see if we get a push back to the upside here, right? Maybe, we'll see. Okay, coming down to the 4. There's that range again. 1 second, everybody. My bad. So pushing down to this range here, to the bottom of the range. Okay. Coming to the 4. There's that move, right? There's our larger fib that's in play. right? We got a beautiful 618 push here. We started that swing and pushed back to the upside. Now we're stuck in the range. So we want to see if this daily level holds and if we get that true push to the upside. Yeah, Joy, still growing, still growing. So we want to see if this daily level holds and see if we get that pushback to the upside, or do we break down if the Fed is hawkish and break down to the downside here and get back to the bottom, the true bottom of that range. Okay. So we want to watch that and see what happens there, see if we get that move. Okay, see if we get that move. Yeah, so that's where we are there on the 4, coming down to the 1. Coming down to the 1. That's the move there, right? And if we want to fib off the high here, just to track the overall move down, that's where we sit, right? We had a 118, 127 zone here on the 1, and we're trying to press back to the upside here. 382 is there at 62, 370. So this will be interesting to see is if we get a deep retracement and then a continuation down, right? So we'll watch this one as well into tomorrow to see if we get that push. Okay, but all based on the Fed's narrative and how they approach the day tomorrow. Okay, that's the NZD dollar. Still watching that one. Let's see if we get that move up. Questions here? No. All right. Dollar yen. That's on the 1 hour. We're going to clean this up, move back, and then we'll come back to that look there. Okay. We'll come back to that look. So pulling these out, coming back to the daily. So on the daily, we got that beautiful 618 retracement. Let's see if I can make this so you guys can see it without removing my numbers. Can you guys see that okay? Or is that too cluttered? We're good.
Can you like extend it, like scroll out? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
bit more extended, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
Thanks, Bill.
Got it. So,
thank you.
You're welcome. Just trying to keep my markings in there so I can track these. But we got a 618 pusher on the daily, right? And then we got this beautiful swing to the upside, right? We know what's happening in the Bank of Japan. So we got the move back to the upside. Now we're getting this little bit of a retracement that's happening, but it's kind of just pressing sideways. So we want to see if this one continues long. Okay, we want to see if it continues long. Everything as of now is long against the yen. Okay, everything is long against the yen. So watching to see if we get that continuation to the upside here, right? Got some levels to break through. What is this daily level here? That should not be there. Boom. Great. So next level is 145.046. Okay, that's our next level of resistance. So we got some got a ways to go to get there, right? Only thing I see that changes that is if we get of us getting to that level is if the Bank of Japan comes in with something surprising tomorrow night, all right, or Thursday night, one of those. That's the only thing that changes that in my opinion. So we'll watch to see what happens there. Coming down to the 4. All right, that push to the downside took out all those fibs going up, right? Strong move down, beautiful retracement. So we flip the fib and run it from the top down. right? And then we see here as we zoom in, that fib also got taken out off this 80-20 move to the upside, right? So we do the same thing one more time, and we flip that fib and run it from the bottom to the top. And so this is where we sit on the 4. Shallow retracement, 118 to 127 zone. We're getting a slow slide to the downside here, right? Kind of like a flag pattern. So we're likely to hit this D extension without getting that retracement. Okay. Again, unless something drastic happens that causes this push to the downside, we're likely going to hit that 142 to 223 level. Okay. And then we'll reset and we'll look at things from there. Okay. Down to the 1. Similar story here on the 1. Is that right? Hold on. There we go. That's the story on the 1, right? Similar to that 4, shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, just missed the D, slow slide flag to the downside, looking for a continuation to get to that D extension before giving us a retracement here, right? So I'm not looking for a pullback here. Personally, I just don't think it'll happen, right? Yes, we're in the 80-20 zone, but I don't see the Bank of Japan changing anything. So even if the Fed is dovish here, I think we still get a push to the upside to get there. And then maybe we get a retracement after that. So we'll watch to see through the day how this transpires. But that's my thought on this dollar yen. Questions? No? Okay. Benny, good morning, bro.
Ryan, good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Busy day today, you know.
Yeah, man, you're on the road.
Yeah, yeah. So it's all good though. What's going on, man? What we
Man,
covered so
not too
far?
much. Not too much, man. Everything's going good. We're just going through some of the dollar pairs and dollar crosses, see where
Oh,
things
okay.
are. Update
Head
ahead of
up
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. I think he's gonna. I don't think his tone is gonna get dovish. I think he's gonna carry it through, just to kind of leave it out there that there could be another one. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we go 25 basis points. You know, and I think
With
he,
the potential of
uh,
another 25.
yeah, just to hold the market at bay. You know what I mean? Because they're in a real good position right now. Inflation is moving down. You know,
Yeah,
so you don't want that rebound quite yet because we're not quite out of the water.
we're not.
You know,
We're not.
yeah. So I think he's gonna hold pretty steady. I don't think he's gonna lean to the devil side, but of course, I could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking because the market is expecting a pause.
Yeah.
You know, so the market is expecting a pause after tomorrow. Uh, but I don't think he's gonna shift because they got burned before with the transitory talk. You know, in the
Hmm.
very beginning of this thing, that everything was just temporary. You know, and they got burned by that. So I don't see him coming off his stance as easy. You know, with the possibility of further rate hikes. I think it's data dependent, but I don't think he leans more to the hawkish side tomorrow. So
Gotcha.
we'll see.
Gotcha.
Now I don't know exactly what that impact is going to be for the dollar, you know, but we'll see. That's what I'm waiting on.
Yeah, I dig that. And it'll be interesting, right? Because at the last one, the investors just shrugged it off and continued trucking. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly.
so it'll be interesting to see if they do the same thing this time.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think it's a decent amount of data out there, with the last CPI numbers and stuff in prints, and we see globally like what happened yesterday out of the eurozone with the manufacturing index and things like that came out that showed contraction. So it's gonna be interesting with the ECB. On
yep.
Thursday, the tone that she takes, but I don't think there's been for as long as we've been fighting inflation, I don't think there's enough recent data yet to show that it's just tailing off enough for him to take a dovish stance tomorrow. But like I said, I could be wrong, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I don't know that there's enough data either. I don't know that there's enough data either to say that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I'm kind of in wait and see mode. You know,
Yep.
when you've got 3 central banks, you know, shooting off data this week. You know, I've learned my lessons with that in the past, just to kind of monitor your charts, look for potential setups. But it's a lot of things coming Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So
Yep, I'm in agreement. I'm in the same position, bro. Just sitting tight and just monitoring how things go.
yep.
I learned that lesson too.
You live through some things. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
just protect the bag first. That's what you do as an investor. Protect
Bingo.
the capital at all costs. So we'll see how it ends up.
Yep. So that's where we are on the dollar yen. Let's take a look at this dollar Canada. Here we go. You see that push to the side there, right on the one. So let's clean this up. We'll come back to it. Came off the high there. Back to the daily here. And we're just ranging right now at the 618 retracement in line with this daily support. Okay. Just pressing sideways. So would love to see this turnover and press to the upside. But we'll see. We'll see, right? But just hovering in the sweet spot right now. So we'll watch and wait and see if we get the catalyst that we need on the move long. Coming down to the 4. Right, those fibs to the upside got taken out. And so this fib on the 4 is coming down. Okay. Move to the next high. And I believe it'll be that last one, but I'm just going to give it a shot. Yep. So the fib's coming to the downside. Not yet. There we go. Right. And here in this range, we got taken out. So that fib to the upside got taken out here. And then we pressed back down. So in this scenario, we're going to come to this high and run that fib to the downside. All right. Super choppy in here. This is where the fib sits though. All right. So just pressing sideways within that. All right. So we'll pull these out, right? Because it's just range bound there. I do want to come back here and give us this level of resistance. And within this range, that level of resistance there, right? So it gives us the range that we're playing in, and then that higher level of resistance there. So that's there. So now when we come back to the 1, pull that out. Now let's come back to the 1. How did that happen? So here on the 1, there's that move. All right. There's that move off the high, just range bound there. We had an 80-20 scenario, but we never really were able to take off. Okay, so looking for a break out of the range, either to the upside or to the downside here. Okay, so we're just chilling on this one, waiting to see what happens also. All right, you can drop the trend line on like so. All right, break of the trend line, break of the resistance, give us a long opportunity, or if these hold, we'll look at least to the bottom of the range, potentially lower. Okay. So that's the dollar CAD, right? Questions on this one? All right. Sweet. And then the dollar Swissy. We'll update this one as well. Starting to push long here though. Back to the daily. So here we are here on the daily, right? There we go. We just wicked that 382. Strong push to the downside, and we're taking back some of that move now. Okay. We broke below this level at 87,592, right? Which was a key level. We got an all-time low at 83,004. No, not an all-time low. 2015 low. All-time is quite a ways away. So back to 2015 is the last time we saw this level. Okay. Could we be headed there now? Potentially. We'll see if this was a previous monthly support level back here, December 2020, right? We broke below that 2020 low in a strong bearish way. So now we're looking at this retracement here. And the question is, we got daily support levels here that we broke through as well. Do we come back and retest this zone and then continue down? Right, and I say this zone because you got that daily support right here, and you got this monthly level here. Right, so do we push back up into the zone or even come back and retest this previous consolidation here? Right? Does that go a little wider like that? Do we push back into this range here and then continue to the downside? That's the question I'm asking in my mind, and I'm watching to see if we get, right? Coming down to the 4. We'll run the fib off the high. Right? And that's where we are there. We're pushing off this B boundary. 382 is just above that monthly level there. Okay. So pushing back into that range there, and that range from a daily time frame perspective is in line. The top of it is in line with the 618 retracement, right? Into our sweet spot. So do we push back there and then get short again? That's the question for me. Okay. There we go. That's the question for me. Do we push back there and then get short again? Okay. So we'll see there. Coming down to the 1. Let me get my fibs to pop in. There we go. Here we are on the 1. Right, didn't quite push into that 118, 127 zone like we wanted to, but we're getting a reversal. Okay, and again, top of that range is in line with this one, is in line with the 50% retracement, just shy of a 618. So, do we get that nice push to the upside is the question. All right, already moving long. See if we get another catalyst to push us into that zone. Okay. Questions here on the dollar Swiss. No. Okay. All right. So those are the dollar pairs and dollar crosses. Over to, let's take a look at some of these euros. Euro Aussie. Turn back over again, right? Pressing down. Coming down to potentially 162, 368, right? So this one is still just bouncing away. Still bouncing away, not able to break above this daily resistance at 165, 515, right? So let's see if we get a third touch at this support level and see if we're able to get another bounce to the upside. right? If the ECB continues to be hawkish. Okay. So let's see there, coming down to the 4. Right. Here was the overall 80, 20. We missed a 382 there. Came back down, right? Pushed that level for a second time. And there's that crown pattern trying to play out here. Okay, so let's see what transpires at 162, 368. Coming down to our 1 hour, right? Similar story. So we press back down into the sweet spot again. Okay. So if these levels hold, right? If these levels hold, we'll look for reversal and to get back long. Okay. But we're back into the sweet spot again. And we've just been ranging. Okay. So want to see what happens here. All right. If we finally get that crown pattern to play out at some point, we'll see. All right. But see if we get price to turn over and give us another move to the upside. Okay. Let's see what the cloud looks like. Yep, I'll run that race. Quite a ways away from the cloud here, but you see, right? Price just been bouncing in between it, and then we push down. So let's watch and see what happens there. Reese want to see a fib off the high. Interesting there, Reese. 80-20 scenario off that range play. Maybe, right? Instead of using the cloud on this one, run your trend lines to the downside. See if you get a break. Kind of like that, Reese. 618 in line with the, 80-20 in line with the 618 retracement. Kind of like that. Let's see if we get some bullish action here. Good call. All right, so let's see what happens. Right there. Okay. Questions on the Euro Aussie? All right. Euro CAD. Down. So let's come back here real quick. This is a monthly time frame. You're pushing to an 8-6 retracement level, not able to break above that zone. And then we started making a move down. Strong bearish action. We pulled back and retested that candle, right? And now we're pulling back. So the question is, do we continue to retrace or do we turn over and keep pressing to the upside? My bad. On the weekly time frame, this is the look, right? Pushed up, came back, retested that range, and now we're pulling back. So this was a previous level, lower time frame resistance here. Do we just retest that and continue pushing along with the euro, or do we break through that and continue down at least to 142 to 412? Right? Coming to the one, we see that a little more closely. Got that daily support there off that turn. And this is that weekly level at 142. So question is for me, does this hold as support? This was previous resistance. We broke through it. We're coming back to retest. Does this hold as support? And do we get a bounce to the upside? Or do we continue falling? Again, all going to be based on Miss Christine Lagarde and what she says during that press conference. So coming down to the 4, here's the scenario. We had an 80-20 here. Beautiful move down, right? We're at a 50% retracement level now. Do we push that 618 range? All right. Beautiful move through TP1, right? If you're running your trend line is in line with that 618 retracement level, right? It's been a beautiful retracement. Been a beautiful retracement off the 80-20 play. Okay. I didn't take this one, but that's 300 pips to the downside in what, a week, 2 weeks time, right? Beautiful move. So do we settle in here at the 618 retracement level, and then are we able to get back long? Okay, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. Another push down. And see if we stay bullish on the euro. Getting back to the top of this range and this 149, 368 level. Right, that's what I'd like to see happen. And we got a daily daily D extension in line with that level as well. So let's see if we get that reversal there. Coming down to our 1. Boom, just shy of the D extension here. Okay, just shy of the D extension. So let's see what happens. Push down to get to that D extension. And that would also be in line with that trend line. And do we get a flip, or does this 80-20 play out first? That part I'm undecided on. We'll see. We'll see. I think we get some more downside action here before we get back long. Okay. But we haven't gotten a 382 on this fib. So if this does turn over, right, and break above this consolidation zone here, right? If this turns over and breaks above this level, that tells me we're pushing to the upside. Right? So if we get that action, then we're looking long. If not, look for price to trickle to the downside slowly. And then maybe tomorrow we get the catalyst for the reversal. Okay. Questions on the Euro CAD?
No.
Cool deal. I want to skip to this Euro NZD. I want to see what's happening here. Pressing down off the top of the range. Previous resistance we're stalling at right now. Got a double bottom at the 382 in the push. I want to see if we stay in this range or if we finally turn over and are able to break out to the upside here. On the 4, we got the 618 push. Can we get to the D extension and break out to the upside? That's the question. See if this holds as support here. Previous resistance, resistance. Let's see if that holds. That's what I'm curious about. Coming here to the 1, we took out the A to the downside. Took out the A to the downside. So flip our fib. Boom. 80-20 scenario. Interesting. Range bound there. Let's see if we can get bullish here. We got that rate statement tomorrow. Yeah, man. Yeah. Let's see if we get bullish here. I'm going to watch this one closely and see what happens. Let's see if we can get this thing to turn over. What's the cloud look like here? Still a ways away. Push to the upside could break that Tinkinson and Keegerson. and potentially give us a crossover. I'm going to watch this one close and see what happens. I'm curious. But that's an 80-20 scenario right there. Okay, so we'll watch and see. Any questions on this Euro NZD? No. Any questions on anything that we covered this morning? Didn't get through all the Euros. We're pretty close. All right. Cool deal. All right, good people. So be patient, right? We got a lot of rate, 3 rate statements coming this week. So let's be patient and allow for the data to come out in the market to tell us what's going to happen, right? We want to really be patient here. The lesson that we've learned in the past is when we try to get happy in these situations, it can get crazy, right? It can get crazy. So if we wait and be patient and just allow for, my camera's wrong. There we go. If we wait and wait and be patient and just allow for the market to make its change and then tell us where it's going, then we have higher opportunities to be successful here, right? So don't try to forecast the market, but allow the market to tell you what it's going to do, right? Use your confirmations and then play from there. All right. So that's it, my people. Been a phenomenal morning. Have a phenomenal Tuesday. Be patient. Let's look for opportunities to find that 1% today. All right. Have an awesome day. We'll be back at it 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Asian session with my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Until then, see you guys later. Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.